Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
Whoa.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Fuck good. If What the Actual Fuck was a movie, out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod. Hello and welcome, Chuddle Club members, to a brand new meeting of the Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club. My name is Ross, and I'm joined by my co-occupants of the pod, Bryan. Well, he's not here, but
Boo.
You know who is?
Who?
Sam.
Oh, sup! Sup to me. Sup to you.
Sup to me.
Sup to everyone.
Brian had a last minute thing that he had to do, which was strangely enough, he's renovating an old hotel that he found.
Yeah, and it was an emergency renovation, really.
Emergency renovation into a haunted house. Yeah, so we wish him all the luck.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably going to try to live stream us later, so.
Oh, that'd be excellent.
But tonight, we sign up as characters and get locked in the basement without any workers' comp as we discuss 2015's Hell House LLC.
Limited Liability Corporation.
And just in case you didn't know, or this is your first episode listening to Chuddle the Pod, we like to keep it spoiler-free up top, and we will let you know when the hell pits rip open and the spoilers come crawling out. Last, but certainly not least, we have a Patreon.
Oh.
And we got to shout out our Coven of Witches. Your sacrifice gives us life, and we thank you for your beautiful souls. And what does signing your soul or slight monetary contribution get you? Well, a choice of movies we cover in our Patreon exclusive pick every movie cycle, as well as extra content, bonus episodes, and a secret Discord layer to discuss all things Chuddle with other contributors to the pod, which include, but not limited to, past guests, movie directors, authors, and generally amazingly creepy Chuddleheads.
Ooh.
Right? So yeah, check it out. Now, let's set up the electricity and the fog machines and get into our toe tag line for this evening.
That's your fog machine.
That's okay. So if any request, Bryan, just randomly throughout the episode, just small of a fog machine going off because we're, you know.
Okay, see, I was thinking Brian's not here, so I will just be the human soundboard, as I'm known to be off pod.
Yes, the living Bismarcky of horror. All right, here is our spoiler-free toe tagline. 5 years after an unexplained malfunction causes the death of 15 tour goers and staff on the opening night of a Halloween haunted house tour, a documentary crew travels back to the scene of the tragedy to find out what really happened.
Sure.
Accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
For the most part. Well, haunted house movies are made by people, sometimes ghosts, but mostly people. And this movie was directed and written by Stephen Cognetti.
Yes, I saw that. Written and directed.
Is this? See, I did not go as far. I don't know if this is his directing and writing debut.
I do not know either.
I should have this. Honestly, I should have this information because I'm the one emceeing tonight.
That's true. This is your pick.
This is my pick. I think this is, director. Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
so this is
like
one of the first things he directed.
Yep. He did some shorts before this. And then all he's done is Hell House movies since then. Which I did not realize. He's got another one coming out. Oh, and it looks like actually maybe a non-Hell House movie coming out too.
Dun, dun, dun. Some of our key players in the film are Gore Abrams as Paul O'Keefe.
Gore.
Danny Bellini as Alex Taylor. We've got Jared Hacker. Yes, Hacker. Jared Hacker is Tony Prescott. Also, I have to go back. With a name like Gore Abrams, why wouldn't you just insist on using your name instead of whatever they wrote? He's at a horror movie, and his first name is Gore.
For the character?
Why not?
Wouldn't they be like...
He's like a Mr. T character.
That's a weird
you know what I mean?
name.
Like Mr. T is Mr. T.
Is that straight? I've never heard that name before. Have you?
Have you?
Plus, if he takes up all the, we'll get there, but he takes up all the gore in this movie.
Dude, right? Oh my, yeah. And also Adam Schneider as Andrew McNamara. And we also have some other ones to kind of go through, but that's kind of our key cast player. Oh, also Ryan Jennifer Jones as Sarah Havel.
Yes.
Havel. See, even it doesn't have to be a foreign film. I'll still fuck up the names.
Oh yeah, that's classic Ross. Names be fucked. It's nothing personal.
Nothing personal. Well, the doors are locked and things are getting shadowy. It looks like it's about time to fill up our Gorometer for the evening.
It's time for the Gorometer.
Fatality.
Basically, on a scale of 1 to 10, Psycho to the Sadness, how gory is this film, Sam?
Give it a 1.
Wow. Okay.
Giving it a 1.
I gave it a, man, I was actually kind of being nice and giving it a 3. Consistency is a 1 for sure. Like
consistency is like half a finger.
Yeah. And then intensity is like there's like a few scenes in there. So I gave it like
Is there
2.
a few? I feel like there's one.
There's a few. Yeah, to be totally honest, to be completely frank. So that'll go up as we kind of come along.
I could go up to 1.5, but
this is a 1.5 too. This movie heavily does not rely on gore to achieve its spookiness or scares in this film
at all.
This one is actually kind of impressive for how spooky this movie is with the intense lack of gore throughout.
Well, I think gore doesn't contribute to spookiness for the most part. Do you?
No, but I'm talking about our track record. I mean, we cover some pretty splattery things.
Way low.
So way low on our scale, which does not mean bad by any standpoint.
No. It's a found footage thing, maybe. I feel like, I don't know. I remember Blair Witch where like, Jesus, what is this? Half a finger? Like
oh yeah. Exactly. A blurry half finger in the corner.
Who is the horror forward?
So, that was pretty good.
That
right?
was very good. Yeah.
This question pretty much asking what kind of horror subgenre it belongs to. I mean, we got found footage freaks are gonna love this.
Oh yeah, definitely for found footage heads, freaks, little freaky freaks,
little freaks on that haunted house.
Yep,
figuratively and like Halloween fake haunted house. If you're into either one of those, this is going to be right up your alley, real or fictional.
And Halloween seasonal thing because it is like they're making a haunted house in it, so it's good for the Halloween season. What else you got going?
Oh man, I mean, like
if clowns spook you, if you're a fan of spooky clowns, I would definitely check this one out.
Off-putting clowns, absolutely. I would also lightly wrangle this into satanic and satanic cult films.
Cult for sure, yeah.
For sure, cult.
I wouldn't say it like
it's culty with a dash of Satanism. Yeah. Although that's kind of the fueling force. It's a little bit on the side. It's mostly culty vibes.
I would say it's mostly spooky vibes or like ghosty vibes, haunty vibes with a dash of cultiness.
Yeah. It's a nice little schlurly of I'll do a bunch
cult's
of
cult's there, but it's not like if you were like recommend me a cult movie, I'm not even sure I would think of this movie.
That's very true. How are we watching this? I mean, like, I think honestly, this movie would be good either way. I think in a group or by yourself.
Agree.
Although I feel like watching this by yourself will give you a little more of the EBGBs than with a group of people.
It just depends on the atmosphere.
Yeah.
This would have been with a group. If it's your first time, it should be a group where it's everybody's first time and they're trying to like get scared watching a movie together.
Yes.
For your first time.
So this wouldn't be like a loud party. I mean, it could be, but again, I think for this movie in particular, first viewing, get some found footage heads, get some haunted house freaks.
Sure.
Get but like
people
are going to actually pay attention.
Overnight in high school with friends, like you rent horror movies. This would be a great one.
Fantastic one. Okay, so this is a good one. Is this for beginners? And I said yes, absolutely yes. This is a beginner's horror movie.
Yeah. The only thing that could make it a little difficult for beginners is the found footage aspect of it. I don't think this is a difficult found footage movie to watch compared to other found footage movies. But if you're inexperienced with the medium, it just, it's different.
It is. I mean, like, yeah, it's definitely different, but I think you're right. And obviously not a spoiler, but because it is a documentary style found footage horror film, it's still structured way better than I feel a lot of other found footage films.
I have we'll talk about that.
Totally. What do you hear that?
Did you leave the light on?
I did. Well, I mean, it's got fog machine in here too, and other stuff. But it's all okay.
Hey, what's up, fellas? It's me, the Mothman.
Hey,
you guys want to know if there's anything to be worried about before you see this film?
I would say, if you have light sensitivity and photosensitivity, there is a shit ton of strobe lights in this movie. Lots of flashing lights. It's going to lead into some of the IMDb behind the scenes, but there is puke in this movie. So like there is a puking scene.
Oh yeah, so, that's right. Yep. Not too severe, but it's there.
But it's there. Oh man, I guess if you've ever been caught or stuck in a haunted house, this may trigger some stuff for you. But I think the big ones would be mostly photosensitivity, and there's just a slight puking thing. Everything else is pretty standard horror fare.
Definitely. Agreed.
All right, Sam.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a line forming at the entrance of the haunted house, and I think it's time to get our soundtrack going and everyone take their positions, because our first stop is the highway.
Spoiler zone.
Well, let's get into the IMDb behind the scenes. This one's very small, to be totally honest.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, there's two that I'm going to bring up while we're going through the movie, and then two just from the straight up front. Mm-hmm. So this film was shot at a real haunted house attraction in Leeton, Pennsylvania, called The Haunting at the Waldorf Hotel. This haunt did take over an abandoned hotel, just like in the movie. And to my knowledge, this haunted house is still functional. So if you are a Hell House LLC fan, you can go through this hotel as a haunted house seasonally, which I think is
very cool.
That alone is just amazing that you can actually do that. Producer Joe Benelli is uncredited in the movie, but he plays Diane's cameraman throughout the entire film in the interviews and in the final sequence.
Okay.
And also, speaking of uncredited, writer-director Stephen Cognetti is uncredited in the movie, but plays the cameraman with the tour group in the main sequence of the film. So he is the guy filming inside the haunted house.
Yeah, the video that everybody's seen, the one we see at the beginning of the movie.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Like that one. Video. And then this one, I was like so on the fence about putting this in, but I think it's hilarious, and I don't really think it's the piano theme sounds exactly like the Meow Mix jingle, just slowed down.
Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, that's exactly what it is. I could not figure it out. It is the Meow Mix theme, just like down a few notes. Dun 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 dun. Right? Dun 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 dun. I was trying to place it. It sounded so familiar to me.
And that's proof in the pudding that if you just slow any piano down, it can kind of be creepy. Even the Meow Mix jingle.
Oh man, now I already was was thinking about revisiting this, but now I might even again because I gotta. Now I gotta be certain because I'm like it can't be, but it was so familiar.
It is Meow Mix. Who picked it? Why? And history. Okay, so this is my pick for the week, obviously. Mm-hmm. This is one of the first films in a minute that I originally saw it. I think the year it came out, it had to have been between 2015 and 2016, and I legitimately scoffed at the name of this movie. Like, I think I was going through like streaming stuff when Hell House LLC. Like, what the fuck's up with LLC? Mm-hmm. Pleasantly surprised. Like, it was so funny to me that the title I felt was so disarming that watching this, I had this low bar of expectation. And it fucked my shit up. It was fantastic. And I just felt like I was like, okay, I didn't know if you guys had ever seen this before. So I really, really wanted, if you guys, this first experience, or just be able to talk about Hell House LLC. Right. Because I am a fan of this film, and obviously I'm not going to get too crazy into it, but also I do really appreciate the sequels that have come out. The third one, not so much, but the second one in particular, I thought was a very amazing companion piece to this. So funny,
because I've heard the opposite. And I've also just heard both of them be panned, but we're not here to talk about the sequels. I had not seen this before. Also, technically, we watched the director's cut for this recording, right?
Yes, we did. This is like this is the director's cut
or something. I don't know.
It's like 8 or 9 extra minutes, and to be totally honest with you, I could not tell you where that was added. Well, I mean, I've watched both. I mean, it's obviously there.
Right. I've only watched this director's cut, but I watched it twice. I had not seen it before. It had been on the list, and I just hadn't gotten to it yet. I know Bryan had seen it, but not until within the past year or so. Just when he was, I believe, filling in his found footage holes in his viewership. This one was one of the ones everybody talks about, and with good reason. So I had not seen it till now. That's my history. And I've seen it. Everybody, when people talk about found footage, I know this comes up as top notch, cream of the crop, found of the footage. How'd they even find this?
The heavy cream found footage. This is just
they must have needed a good detective to get this footage.
Perfect. All right. You know what? Let's just jump into this thing.
Okay. Movie time.
All right, so from Jump Street, this is a documentary, more specifically on the tragic events that happened at a haunted house attraction that was built in an abandoned hotel called Hell House LLC. And we get that nice, beautiful...
Called Hell House. LLC is their name because they're like a real business. They don't put the LLC on the haunted house.
Real tiny, just really tiny in the corner. So Hell House is built. So I love such a soft spot for a black screen with just simple white text in the dead ass center. It's just, I don't know. It's just something.
You had a soft spot there.
It is. It's a weird one because it's like sometimes it works great. When it hits. Sure. And this one, it hit well.
Your cockles just have a nice little opening for black background and white text.
Yeah, all the time. What you are about to see is a documentary on the mysterious events surrounding the 2009 Halloween haunted house tour tragedy. I do honestly really like the blend of people that they kind of interview for this, because like we get a bunch of different perspectives right from the beginning of this movie. Mm-hmm. We get journalists, witnesses, and everyone is kind of in the same boat of having no fucking clue what happened in that house.
Right. Yeah. We were finding out the police and whoever was in charge kind of kept it a secret from whatever actually happened. They didn't want anything to get out. They didn't really tell reporters, so the reporters were in the dark. People who were there, it was so chaotic that as they were just trying to escape and get out and different, that no one really knows what happened. It was a blur.
All they know is that there's supposed to be some kind of malfunction that happens, and 15 people died, including staff.
They show us a video of the tour, and it's apparently a famous video that everybody's seen.
Totally. It's like the news footage, they kind of mix in the documentary, the news footage, and then I just called him Almost Santa. I guess he's supposed to be like he's the guy who pumps up because he doesn't really have like a name moniker. But he goes, just watch the video. So apparently with this, there was a YouTube video that was uploaded by someone who was filming going through the house, and then there's an adjoining 911 call that's equally as confusing. So this YouTube video, we get the POV of inside the attraction as everything goes to shit. Typical haunted house gimmicks, characters, and then intentionally, obviously, we get the clown running away from everyone, which they point out and goes, well, that's weird.
Yeah. Which upon first watch, you are like, what
the fuck is that about?
Because he's like, I know there's clowns in this movie,
and like running.
I don't know if that's a bad guy or a good guy at this point, or what's happening. Like, for all I know, that's a monster running by to go do something. But
totally. And I do like the fact that, like, while this is going on, all the behind the scenes people are like running on their walkie talkies. They're going up to the attic. They're going down to the basement. And then oh my gosh. Okay. The POV of them getting to the basement, they're all stalling, and then everyone panicking and running back up the stairs where all hell breaks loose. And then like kind of ushered out through, which you find later is Mac kind of like guiding them out of the house, or at least this POV. And then all the emergency. Okay. I hate to say this, but good on Abaddon, the township, because their emergency response literally happened within like 5 minutes of shit hitting the fan officially.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, like talk briefly about the 911 call. Super staticky, woman calling, saying something static, 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 into the wall, static, static, static. I don't want to die, static, static, static. Just like cut.
Yeah. Into the wall. What?
Into the wall.
What
it's
is
like,
that?
What the fuck is? Yes. This movie does a really great job of giving you a whole lot of breadcrumbs throughout this movie about what ultimately happens that night. And then all of these like, oh, fucking God damn it. Oh, God damn it. Oh, shit. Oh, like, because it's kind of an interesting setup because 15 people are going to die opening night.
Right.
So like the entire buildup is this pressure cooker of obviously these guys getting everything set up and then kind of getting towards the initial night. So yeah, I don't know. It's just they have a great way of like even knowing the ending.
Is there a into the wall thing that happens later?
There is yes and no. So in the blood, actually, great lead up, Sam, because we get pictures of the inside of the hotel that a journalist took because he broke into the hotel to take photos of the crime scene because he didn't believe any of the gag orders. Because after this thing, everybody kind of just was like silent about it. And we get they debunked it as a gas leak because they said it was a gas leak that killed everybody. So then he's like, he sees the blood trails. And what you were saying is like into the wall, there is a blood trail on the ground that drags, that goes into and it looks
like it goes into the wall, but we don't see, but
you never see it though.
And then, but other than seeing that and hearing her say that in the beginning, that's the only time any dragging through a wall type of thing.
There's floor sucking and there's floor dragging, but there's no actual wall bleeding.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of implied lore in this movie, or like things that have happened that is that just if you're paying attention and looking, it's like, oh, there's all these things that they kind of say, and then it never really.
Yeah, like they show you the aftermath of, I think, of a few of these instances, but they don't show you what actually happened, which I feel is like, I think there's enough of the found footage when they actually get into it that I don't know, it didn't hinder it from me. Like, it wasn't a huge hang up. Usually with found footage movies like this, it would be a huge, not red flag, but like something I'm like, God damn it. I was like, why the fuck didn't you explain that? But I think that because everything is so obtuse in this, that I wasn't necessarily as peeved about not seeing certain things that were alluded to.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, it didn't bother me.
Yeah. I do like the fact that the journalist had to take photos from around the corner down the basement because
didn't want to go down there.
He didn't even want to go down there.
I liked that actor. I thought he was very believable as just a journalist giving an interview for a documentary. 100%.
Yes, 100%. I think that actually really plays to a lot of the people that are interviewed, because like even the news stuff in the beginning felt like a real news coverage. Like nothing.
Totally.
Nothing's like, I don't know, nothing.
The Santa guy is a little dramatic, but
he's yes. Yeah, exactly. He's almost like the weird narrator. He's our, was it Crazy Ralph? Like he's totally. Totally in this movie. Now we got to set up for the interview with Sarah Havel, the lone surviving member of Hell House. Hasn't been heard from since the tragedy. And I like how the camera guys are pretty ruthless in this. Where he's like, well, if all my friends died, I would have just killed myself. And like, I don't understand, like, she's not showing up. And I was like, ooh, that's a little intense.
Yeah. And the way they
comments to say
are talking to each other in general, like even before it gets that bad, the way they're like talking about lightings and she's not coming up and you're wrong. It's just kind of, it's very, bitter the way they talk to each other, it seems.
Totally. And pump fake on all of them. She actually calls. So she shows up for this interview. She says she's been staying with family and is in a better place now. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I'm in a better place now. Oh, great line.
Great
on a rewatch,
line.
you know what I mean?
And right. Oh my God. There's so many great subtleties. Second go around where you're like, ha ha, I see what you did there.
Yeah. Which is what I particularly like about it is normally when you're watching a movie, all those things are obvious, so that like when a reveal happens or something later, you're like, oh, that's why this happened or that happened. Or it just seems like, okay, they're showing us that because that's going to be important later. Where this one, like all of it just totally feels normal. It wasn't until my rewatch that I was like, oh man, there's like so much more going on here that I had no idea. I have like so many more questions now. I wish I had the chance to watch it more before recording.
I think what's kind of, and I probably should have put this in genre, but it was kind of almost like a spoiler, but I would also classify this it's a kind of a niche, and it's just a weird name for it, but like Roach Motel movies, as in like this, the Abaddon Hotel is meant to kill everything that comes inside of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like anybody that like walks into there has a very high probability of dying. Like, obviously everybody that stayed there died. And then 15 standard people within 5 minutes of that thing opening died.
Right.
And like it tried closing the doors. So it's like the intent of this, it's like a killer house movie, as in like once you're enter this Roach Motel, you're more than likely not getting out. You know what I mean? By means of whatever's in the house.
Yeah. This one has so much going on. I got questions. Well, I'll ask them as they come up.
Oh, totally. So instead of like what you normally would think of being like just a straight up interview, she just like throws a bunch of tapes and literally has all of the Hell House footage that the crew had taken during the initial setup and everything. And I love the fact that he goes, "You didn't give this to the cops?" And she's like, no. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm like, all right. Well, all right. Sure.
You're just too excited to see it, though. I mean, come on. That's a gold mine. You're making a documentary about this. You just found the bulk of your documentary was just handed to you.
And it's which is okay. Obviously, someone had to edit this, and someone made this a documentary that it is. And if like with Diane, it's so funny to me. One of the aspects was like, man, if Diane had just taken a beat and watched 30 to 40 minutes of this found footage before leaving to go to the hotel herself, she would have never have stepped foot in the hotel.
Well, you would have had to watch the end, start at the end and go backwards, which I guess is the interesting part anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I find that kind of interesting too, because like you see this whole lead up and everything that builds through, and like it's just so funny that her want to get the perfect story just completely just throws all that to the wind. I'm like, nope, I should go. This is totally fine. This will work out. So the Hell House footage starts on August 23rd as they initially get into the house. You can kind of already kind of see that Mac and Alex kind of have a tumultuous relationship. At least they kind of allude to that in the beginning, which is like their huge their button heads and arguments outside and stuff like that. We get to the Hotel Abaddon. They're so weird. They're like RVs and cars parked in the back of the property, and it's like completely abandoned. And I think that like how like the characters bring it up, it's like condemned abandoned.
Yeah.
Which is kind of amazing to me, is that obviously in real life, it is a haunted house. They're filming in a haunted house that's from an actual abandoned hotel, which is so funny to me, is that like you have this basis of an abandoned hotel. So like they show up, and I'm pretty sure they didn't have to do any set design. I mean, obviously they kind of had to do for certain stuff, but it's like you're filming in a haunted house. You're just going to be kind of like taking the natural components there.
Yeah. I mean, I know Deadstream, a lot of it was like already done where they shot, you know what I mean? They didn't need to do anything because it looked that way on its own. But I don't know about this. So it's something I didn't think about till you were saying it. You think those like there's abandoned cars and stuff behind the hotel, like you said, where I'm missing guests. I think this thing is kind of like it's like or
you
not,
check in.
They wouldn't be missing guests because
they're still
the
there.
guy was able to make it seem like people were still checking out before he killed himself. So this would have been people who came to explore after it had
afterwards.
been. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Like think of this as the New York version of the Hotel California. You check in,
right?
And you probably don't check out.
Hotel California LLC.
But dude, like this place has everything. We've got a creepy piano. We got a haunted bar. There's a bunch of empty bottles. He's kind of a, what's the line? I'm kind of a Pinot Grigio man.
Paul.
Oh, dude, we get a creepy attic to boot with its own hanging chains.
Yeah.
If you're running a haunted house.
Well, I was just going to say that chain, when I saw that hanging from the ceiling, I was like, all right, that'll come back into it at
foreshadowing.
some point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, look at this huge chain that could support a human body.
Right.
We also even get static ghosts going through the walkie-talkies. I legitimately, when they hear the ghosts and then they're like fumbling around with it, and then the walkie-talkie actually works, and it's like I don't know if it's Alex or someone's yelling. It is Alex, or something. Yeah. That one actually got me, which was hilarious to me, because one of the first times watching this, I turned the volume up on my thing because the static was low. And then the second that like went in, oh, dude, I jumped like 2 feet off my chair. It always is funny to me that, like actual haunted houses, it's not the monsters. It's not the it's not the gore. It's none of that stuff. Like in a haunted house, it's the person in the leotard that's covered in the pattern of the wall that walks towards me. That's what gets me. Right. Or like a walkie-talkie noise is the thing that actually gets
unexpected.
Me. Oh, 100%.
All the other stuff you expect to see there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, God damn it. Okay, so they get down to the basement, but before that, and I like how because it's documentary style, they rewind the tape. So they look at them going down the stairs to go to the basement, and they have that shrouded person in the corner.
Hooded figure.
That hooded figure where you're just like, oh no. You're only in this building for an hour, and like already there's like, to me, I almost thought it was like a slasher where I'm like, okay, shit, this is like someone squatting in this fucking building that they just haven't seen.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Because I think the entities in this are portrayed in a way that when you start seeing them, like, I don't know, they're more than ghosts, as in, like, I know they're supposed to be like ghosty, demony kind of like weird things in the house, but the way that like the shrouded characters are, and we're talking like full robes with like masks and shit, or like full robes with like weird faces.
Typical cultists.
Culty. Very culty.
Like culty.
Yeah, like Anton LaVey theatrical cult. You know what I mean? Like it's very like grandiose.
Worship the devil.
Yeah, think of like
theatrical cult.
Think of like a goth version of Eyes Wide Shut, like that. So they're not having an orgy covered in masks and doing stuff. They're just hailing Satan. And speaking of basement, we get satanic graffiti. We get oh god, the whole entire setup that they're gonna have in the bottom, where I thought it was the circle of Bibles, that they didn't have, a weird woman's shoe. There's satanic graffiti all over the place. I love the fact I have to skip part of this thing because I thought we weren't going to talk about Queens was a hilarious line for Bryan because he lives in New York. And I figured that would be one of those fun ones that I could keep on riffing about, but he's not here. So,
yep. Aren't there numbers? They comment on the numbers going down the stairs. That's another implied lore thing that we never find out what it is, right?
We don't really know what's going on with the numbers on the side. There's like an inverted cross. There's a bunch of like really weird stuff. And I do like the fact that like legitimately a few people in there like, hey, this is weird, right? Because like
Sarah's really freaked out by everything going on in there. And on the rewatch, it's like, it almost seems as if she was like working for the house this whole time somehow, but obviously that doesn't make sense if she's been with Alex for so long. But then if Alex has also already been at this house in all these previous Google image searches, and like, is he in a time loop in this house? But we see like there, I have so many questions.
There's so many different ones. All right. So great question, Sam. Honestly, I thought Sarah throughout this, I picked it as more of like a possession infection, as in like I don't think she conscientiously knew, like obviously after what happens to her that night moving forward, like she's part of the house. But with this, like what we're watching in the videotapes, it's her like slowly like sleepwalking and talking in weird tongues, but unconsciously doing so. Like I think something's reaching out through the veil.
That scene. I wish I could remember exactly what it is at this basement scene, but there's something in this scene that was my first hint to her being like not totally herself.
Totally. There's something messing with her, and quite frankly with everybody else in here. So they took about a week to get the electricity up, and they started going live in the hotel. And now we start getting at September 8th. And this is when everyone actually starts staying in the hotel to work on it.
Right.
Which is, so now the entire building has full surveillance. So we have kind of, right. Obviously it was made afterwards, but God, it gave me so many hilarious, like in a not funny way, Deadstream, like everything has a camera, everything's locked and loaded.
But it makes sense if you're running a haunted house that you want to have, that type of security,
especially if it's a limited liability corporation.
Their ass is on the line. Well, actually, absolutely. No, they're good. They want to be limited liability, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why you have the surveillance,
right? Exactly. Did this make you think about running your own haunted house? Because that's all I could think about was
honestly
starting my own haunted house.
No, I was okay. A little bit of that, but I also worked at a haunted. I worked for Universal at Halloween Horror Nights for a few years. So like it just gave me, especially when the scare actors come in, like it gave me those vibes, because like you would have powwows before, like, you know, just hangouts before, you know, getting on character, like getting in set, like working out your little boo hole is what kind of you call it, where you kind of like you have your little area and like your little shtick that you have to do and stuff like that. Yeah, I was getting lots of like early college vibes when I was watching this. So I was like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I kind of remember that. Not the possession or the murder per se, but more of the
you forgot all about the possession.
I blacked all that out. Yeah, I got tons of therapy.
Good on you. I got tons of therapy to erase it from my memory.
Just erase it, just eviscerate from my memory.
Eternal sunshine for you.
But wouldn't you know it, Sam, the basement is the only place where they can't get any video.
Yeah, the walls are too thick.
Air quotes.
Yeah.
So they decide to have a secret actor clown who can bounce people because their main plan is that the huge crescendo of the end of the haunted house is to have a not nude, but scantily clad woman chained, screaming while being surrounded by a bunch of life-size clown props.
Yeah.
So one of them is going to have a kind of a bigger dude, which is going to be Joey. So that we'll meet him a little later.
But their idea to protect her, since they can't have a camera down there, is they'll hire an actor down there, a big guy who can keep an eye on her in case anything happens.
Exactly. Oh my God!
In case anybody's like Paul and gets a little rapey, is what Tony says.
Yeah,
because Paul, as evidenced through a lot of this, we haven't touched on the characters much, but Paul, this didn't come out in 2009, right? This came out 2015. It's set in 2009.
It's set in 2009. Paul is a very off-putting character in the fact of how skeevy he comes off as very skeevy.
It's a hornball character that even probably 2015 didn't seem. It may have been like a little bothersome, but today is like really difficult. A lot of what he says, although like he's nuanced, because with all these characters, actually, like I don't know about all of them, but particularly Paul and Alex, like I really didn't like Paul to start and really liked Alex to start. And by the end, I've kind of flipped. Yeah,
it is. I think there's a natural progression with Paul the more the house interacts with him. And then there's like an equal and opposite reaction because Alex starts degrading as the film goes. Like he's very energetic and very on point, and then him dismissing all of these paranormal things going on just reiterates how like beaten down and by the end of the movie he's like,
well, he's been losing it this whole time. I don't even know what's going on with Alex.
Yeah, we got some weird cryptic notes and stuff like that. All right, just real quick, this whole scene where they're setting up the noose prop and the radios go in and out, and then we get the door that opens by itself, and then he goes to investigate the door, and then a strange figure walks in the foreground,
walks by,
and then the door slams. Ugh.
Well, and when the figure walks by in the foreground, it moves the mannequin on the noose, so now it's swinging. So when he's turned around to look at the door and the thing moves by, it makes the mannequin swing, so now he looks at that and then the door slams behind him. This movie does a great job at playing with like placement and not only scanning the camera but like establishing something is here or nothing is here and then changing
twisting it and turning it on its head, where like you're focusing on the background but then something happens in the foreground. It's like actually proof in the pudding. We get the piano cut and then we get a bed POV from Paul with the fucking woman or something coming in through the door and just staring at him while he's recording and not knowing, like it has no fucking clue. Ew.
I love that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, it was
and
so good.
But then he figures it out and he's like, is that you, sir? Or who is that? What are you doing, dude? And they like slowly turn and start walking out. And it's like, that was fucking weird. And I was like,
it's like,
no fucking
no shit. I was like,
Another thing I like about Paul is the way he reacts to stuff is how I would react to stuff, which I feel like doesn't happen in a horror movie much. Like we'll get to it, but the scares, the way he either chases things or runs away from things, I feel like is how I would respond.
I will give credit where credit's due. And Paul, I think a lot of these characters, even more of the wackadoo aspects of it, they play it very realistic. Like I felt like in the canon of a lot of found footage movies, like I believed a lot of the acting and character portrayals.
The characterization in this, the realness feeling in this movie, I think is great. The crosstalk, the way the characters talk, they all have their own voices. Like the scene where they're all at the bar together, drinking, talking about, things in Queens and stuff like that. The
right.
Lucifer's Castle, like it's got a great vibe.
Oh my God! Hey, welcome to Lucifer's cabin.
They work well together.
They really do. Okay, let's see. We're gonna get some Final Destination creepy underwear shot videotaping.
Yeah, there's one Paul's being a creep.
Which Paul's being a creep, which just solidifies you're like, oh God damn it, dude. Mm-hmm. Like the actors show up, so we get our bound woman, our intro host, and a killer clown into the mix. And now,
again, another small thing, the way Paul tells him who's there and Alex repeats it and then kind of figures out what each person's doing. And he's like, all right, I'll go meet him. Like it feels is another genuine seeming moment.
Absolutely, dude. It kind of goes back to the journalist. He talks about first responder that one of the Hell House members who they're not identifying slit his or her own throat, which I thought was kind of, oh God. And then we also figure out who the clown was running through the haunted house, and that is
Joey.
Yeah, it's Joey. I was trying to figure out what his last name was, but it's just Joey Scheffler. Joey. The clown made it out alive from the basement, refused to talk about anything that he saw in the basement, and then wound up hanging himself a few days later, which is so sad. I felt so sad for Joey. He just signed up to hang out in a basement dressed as a clown.
Just met some guy at a gas station, and now look at him.
Oh my God. Just some random guy at a gas station.
It was like, hey, you want to come work at a haunted house?
Right.
Like, sure. Have you seen what I can do?
Oh my God. Yes, which is real. That's also one of the IMDb things.
It was.
It's a real trick, which he was like, oh my God. That one got me. I thought of anything out of the eyeball gag. I thought you would have just added one to the Gorometer for the man popping his own eyeball out.
No, that's a thing people can do.
As Sam attempts to do it. Now we also have our damsel in distress in the basement. Is kind of having second thoughts, and the reason why is she spills the tea about the old owner of the hotel, who apparently hung himself in the building. And there was a bunch of satanic shit, and all this satanic stuff out there was original. So they kind of start saying things start happening to the people staying at the hotel.
Well, we're thinking it was original. Paul's like, wait, was he into satanic cults? He's questioning her as she's saying there was the old owner killed himself after he was accused of the disappearance of a
and then the girl just goes like,
daughter.
You didn't put the stuff in the basement? He goes, that's all OG, baby.
Right.
We also now get a little history lesson about the hotel, and Andrew Tully, I believe is the guy's name. Tully is, yeah. So it's kind of a local ghost story. Tully built the hotel in Abaddon because it was supposedly it's also the name of the demon who guards the gates of hell. And he was the head of a cult, kind of a latter-day Dante is kind of quote unquote what they kind of call him. And then in his hotel, guests started going missing. In particular, 11-year-old girl and her mother. He was questioned by police, but he was able to clear himself by fucking putting, adequate, it's like, no, they checked out. Don't even worry about that. And then nobody came to the hotel after that because of its notoriety. So he wound up hanging himself in the dining room. Okay. All caps. Now we get an introduction to one of the creepiest clowns in found footage history. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know any other found footage clowns.
Or just clowns in horror. I would say clowns in general, particularly dominates the found footage genre. Oh my God, this clown is disgusting. It's like black eyes. It's bleeding from its mouth and face. It has like black, like think of like a Joker smile.
White, completely white, except for black eyes and a black smile.
But yeah, and like two little black triangles under its cheeks. It's
with blood coming out of its mouth and eyes.
Now, for everybody playing at home, the clown's head doesn't move. They made it
It's on a mannequin.
It's on a mannequin.
Three clown mannequins. This is one of them.
Yes, and its head cannot
move.
move.
Don't move. Yeah, they're stiff.
Oh God! Other POV, fucking bed POV from Paul. Then the whole crew hears a scream. We get a super creepy looking down the stairs shot. Oh God! Ugh. And the clown. It was just, and we also get the gross eyeball trick from Joey as well during this entire sequence, which is like,
wait, what?
Well, we get the super creepy looking down the stairs shot, and then it cuts to like they hear a scream, and they go, "Is that just the soundtrack?" No, that's just the soundtrack.
Okay, so that's when they get woken up.
That's when they get woken up, and they'll go like, "All right, we're not fucking going down there." And then it just goes immediately to Joey doing his
in
weird,
the kitchen.
Yeah, they're all in the kitchen, and then like Joey's doing this like weird eyeball flicker, like a little.
Mm-hmm. They're like, "Hey, that's a great hire you had. Good job. He'll work out."
And then this leads into Paul filming more shots around the hotel, even with the lights. And oh my God, this entire sequence of Paul looking around and videotaping, and he gets to the top of the fucking stairs, and we see the clown looking down the stairs.
Paul is looking for Tony.
Paul's looking for Tony, and he fucking sees this clown, and then he follows the clown's line of sight down the stairwell.
Tony dressed as the clown looking down the stairs.
Yeah, and then turns around and looks at. No, I think he thinks it's the mannequin.
No, he thinks it's Tony because he's like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, because the whole reason he's freaked out is when he leaves and goes into the other room.
And then Tony's sitting there in the other room.
And
that's
like,
right.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
He absolutely thinks it's Tony. Yes.
Yeah. So who he thinks is Tony looks back at him when this thing shouldn't be able to move at all. Because even if he thought it was a mannequin, this thing's head cannot move.
The not moving thing doesn't come up till later in the movie when it turns. This is just, he thinks it's Tony. He's like, "Were you fucking with me? Oh, what's down there?" And he turns and it's looking at him. He's like, "Oh, fuck. Okay, like, very funny, man. Whatever. I'll catch you later." And he walks away and goes into the next room, and Tony's in there.
So
he's like, "What the fuck? Are you fucking with me right now?" So then he runs back to the stairs. He's not there. He runs down the stairs, flips on the lights. The thing's laying there on the ground. He's like, "You're fucking with, like, no fucking way." And then they run up and it cuts to them reviewing the footage.
See that? My interpretation of the scene was that he thought it was the mannequin at first. Then he looked down, and then it looked back at him. That's when he thought it was Tony. And then he walks back. He goes, "Fuck you, dude. Like, you don't have to fucking do that." And then he freaks out when he sees Tony. So I thought at a certain point, the reason why he jumped so bad was because he thought it was a mannequin, and then realized,
it's just because he's Tony standing there looking, and then looks over and it's like, "Fuck!" It's just.
Yeah, because if he thought, I don't know. I thought it was like if he thought it was
the
Tony.
Head not turning thing comes up later when all three of them turn their heads.
Oh,
and
totally.
It's just Tony and Mac downstairs.
Oh, totally. I just thought the surprise was, holy fucking shit, this thing's head turned when it's not supposed to. Because if he thought it was Tony just staring at him, then it would be, Anyways. This entire scene, though, legitimately freaked me the fuck out because Paul's acting in this is fucking outstanding. Like him legitimately having a fucking freak out. And they all watch the footage and everyone thinks everyone is fucking with each other. Like
it's a prank. Somebody else has to be in on it. Yeah. And
then blows it over. Like, okay, that's when I would have been like, we need to figure this the fuck out now before I continue with anything. Like,
absolutely.
This is hard stop for me. Like, this would have been the hard stop moment.
Well, the other thing, when I was saying Paul acts like other people don't, is normally when a character, if they go into the other room and the person's there who they thought they were just talking to, he like chases whatever he thought he was just talking to figure out what the fuck is going on. Whereas usually people are too scared to do that. Yes. And I would be like, that's exactly what I'd do. I'd like have to find out, like try and find out immediately before it's too late.
Oh, totally. Well, I think it's also, you have this different perspective of like paranoia and stuff kind of going in on Paul specifically. Because in the first one, it's like, an ominous shadow of a person walks into your room and not even scared. He's like, hey, Sarah, is that you?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Go back to bed. And now like it's now escalating. And he's like, okay, so this is not normal. I have no idea what's going on. There's no rational explanation for this.
Yeah, and then it just cuts.
And no one's believing me.
Then the next cut we see is them at the park filming they're going to film a commercial.
Yeah, and this is also where Sarah starts acting squirrely at that Virgin Mary statue.
The next one, yeah.
Which is like so weird.
Which again, what's her deal? Why is the house infected her?
I think so. It's like, and it's also happening like subconsciously because it seems like she's sleepwalking. Maybe.
Well, she definitely. I think that is what's happening when we get our sleepwalking thing later. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like it's more of a subconscious thing because when she's actually like, when she snaps out of that, she freaks out and she's like, "Why am I here? What the fuck is going on?" I think it's like. I don't know.
Which is why I think it's sleepwalking, because isn't that what happened? Or I hear that's what happens. Yes. Or you're not supposed to wake people up when they're sleepwalking. And...
They get very disoriented and jarred. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now this is where we get. I think this is also a first. A haunted Google Street View.
Oh yeah.
I think that I've never heard of a haunted Google Street View.
I don't know
before this movie. Alex is on the second story, looking all ghostly and shit. Like what
going back to before
they even showed up
there. Yeah.
Yes. Which I feel is like so if this, we can just get right into this. If this is a hell pit, which I think it clearly is, like it's a hell mouth. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely,
it's the guardian of hell, Abaddon, right?
That's the name of the demon.
A demon that's a guardian of hell.
Guardian of hell. So I'm assuming that they opened
place would be
a gateway to hell.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like I don't know. I feel like the place is probably all. I mean, if there's lost souls,
do you think Hell's an LLC or incorporated?
Oh, they would be incorporated. I feel like they wouldn't let themselves be an LLC. Like it's you know Hell Incorporated.
Inc.
Inc. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's freaky. I think it's the reason why it was shot before and after is that like once you're a part of it, you've always been a part of it. This is where I got the Shining vibes. So like at the end of The Shining, and then they move over to the photograph, and then there's fucking Jack Torrance in the shot from like into the hotel. I feel it's the same vibe. It's like he gets murdered, and now he's just always a part of that. No matter what. And obviously this thing like...
But then why him? Why is he always on the porch as opposed to anybody else involved with it? You know what? It's just...
Because I think he's the one that orchestrated it. Because he's the one who signed the contract to get in there. Like
orchestrated what?
The haunted house being at this place.
But think of all the hauntedness that has happened at this house before he showed up. And all the victims that happened. It's just, why not honestly, one of them as the porch people?
Well, I mean, like...
What if there was the 11-year-old girl up there? Like, why
which
not?
Which we do see later. It could be any of them. I think it just happens to be Alex. You know, I think the house uses different souls.
Is there not more going on with him?
You're going to have to figure out in the sequel.
Ask more about it when we talk at the next part.
Exactly. It's September 26th, and they're almost done with the house, and we get a POV of the haunt in its full glory, and lights off and all that jazz in the cobweb hallway, and we got this strobe ghost sequence scene was super fucking weird and really gross. I don't know why.
It bothers you a lot.
It was, I don't like strobe light scenes just in general. So like, and not that like I'm freaked out by them. It's just like they're disorienting.
Anxiety inducing.
Well, they're just like, it's disorienting and like not in a fun way for me. So like, but I think the way it's shot specifically for this scene is fucking great, because the idea of turning the light on and off, on and off, on and off, when you have this, what is it? They have, there's an extra freak. There's an extra freak in the hallway. When this thing manifests itself and then disappears and then remanifests itself and then disappears, I think that's like, I feel like that would be even more fucked up, because it's like, it's inhumanly moving too fast. You know what I mean? Like that's what's fucking like, God damn it. Oh, fuck. Like, and being Paul, who's already had an experience with this shit in the house, just goes from 0 to fuck it, like immediately.
Like, get me the fuck out of here. Yeah. And he's locked in somehow.
This house likes locking doors, like at the most, it just all the time. Like that was the whole reason why people couldn't get out of the basement was because it was locked. And
they should have taken all the doors off the hinges,
right? That would have been. See, this is thinking ahead. This is how we survive Hell House. Also, quick tidbit: when he actually escapes this scenario, pops over the bar, runs out, and then pukes. He's actually puking. Like that's a real life. He had a POV camera on and he jumped through and he just upchucked. So that is real. That is real puke.
Wow. That's some real found footage right there.
Right. We get stills from the camera. This is, I love the fact that in these ones, it's almost done forensically, as in like you get to see the crazy shit, but then they really zoom in on the crazy shit. Even with like Alex's ghost photo where it's like, this is what it is, but then this is what it is up close.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So same thing with this. So you actually see like a third or just an extra.
They'll do like side by side or comparisons like before and after, like here is with nothing. Here it is with the ghosty guy. Now let's get a close-up look of the ghosty guy. Unpleasant.
It
almost looked skin to me, like a face that was all muscle or something.
Like a bone face. Yeah, but it was like I don't know. It sounds not in a bad way. It looked cheesy,
or demonish, really.
Kind of demonish, but it also looked cheesy enough that it fit in with all of the other static props that were in that hallway.
Sure, yeah. If you didn't know that it wasn't supposed to be there,
you would have no fucking idea. Paul is understandably super fucking upset and is baffled that no one is concerned as he is. Like, I think, again, I like Paul's character because specifically he has video evidence, like an overwhelming amount of video evidence that something fucking weird is going on. Like, and I still find it amazing. They're like, no, you're just like, you're overworked, dude. Like what, like, don't stress it. It's like,
well, yeah. Yeah. And he's not even freaking out. Or no, is this when he is freaking out? Or is that Tony later? Does Paul ever have a big blow up about like, this is all too much?
He has one right after this.
Okay.
So like, and this is, we'll just hop right into it, dude. So we get, okay. What makes everyone more concerned is waking up and Paul and Mac wake up at the same time and they see that fucking goddamn clown at the bottom of the stairs. So, so Mac also sees it. So like now there's a second witness to what's going on. They go downstairs and
Paul's freaked out by it. Yeah.
Paul's fucking like, he's Mac, like,
you gotta
deal with this. So Mac goes down and it is the mannequin. Like he can feel that it's the fucking mannequin. So he's like, oh dude, it's the mannequin. Just like what? And they all, but in realizing it's the mannequin, they see Sarah casually facing a wall.
They're moving the mannequin.
They're moving it like back.
Yes. And they pass a room with Sarah in there.
And she's talking backwards, which I have no idea. In reverse. Like literally in reverse. I was
really hoping IMDb would have come through with us for that on what she was saying in reverse.
Well, any of our forensic heads, let us know. Drop it in the Discord. What does she say in reverse forward? But no, see, this is where things get.
Google search.
Do it.
In case anyone else was wondering what Sarah was saying backwards, I recorded it and played it forwards. It's her during the interview with the documentary crew towards the end. She says, I got to the front door as the police were arriving. I was just happy to be alive. They didn't ask me any questions, just rushed me outside.
Oh, so she's talking in the future.
Yeah. That's what she's saying.
Creepy. In the interview. She's being spoon-fed what she's supposed to say. Way up before it's supposed to happen. Ew, gross. Like that.
I wonder when. Yeah, way in advance. But that is bizarre. Yeah.
Well, no, that's like more
weirdness. There's lots of weird auditory stuff too for a found footage movie.
100%. Like, well, also on top of the fact, like you have an entire haunted house soundtrack playing in the background while most of this is going on as well, which is like even more off-putting. Okay, so yeah, they fucking wake up Sarah. She fucking freaks out. They turn around and now the clown is missing.
Yeah, they leaned him against the wall to go get Sarah. and they turn around and it's gone. And that's what I'm talking about. One of those things where playing with expectations. You know the clown's there. They do a good job of showing that to you so that you expect it when you come back, and then it's not there. Great
100%. Oh, dude, it's so fucking good. So they kind of like worm their way through the downstairs, hear a bunch of creaks and moans, and then they look back, and it's the fucked up dining room. And then when they look back, the table is completely everything's completely made, and the entire dining room is set up with a candle going on.
Yeah, with
which
candles.
Was like, what the fuck? That one was like a huge what the fuck moment. And then they fucking turn around.
They're all screaming and running now. Right?
Oh my God. They're all screaming and running, which is hilarious. But where they need to run, the clown is there. So they have to like go around the clown, scream, and then head up the stairs past the clown. Jesus Christ. Okay. So at that point, that's where now you have like 3 people experiencing something super fucked up on camera. Like at that point would have probably been the ultimate, like, okay, I'm checking out. Like this is
can't close the beaches. Not at the 4th of July.
Not at the 4th of July. It's Halloween. We have to keep the house open. Well, Paul gets a little snoopy, finds Alex's notebook, and it goes from spooky ideas to full-blown psychotic writing. It's like Abaddon. If you say it fast enough, that sounds like Porky Pig.
Written with people drawn onto pentagram circles like we saw in the basement, but they almost look demonish. I mean, it is fully off the rails.
It's dude, it is super, super unnerving. Which, why not lead into something even more unnerving? We get another Red Room POV shot, and this one is not going to end well at all. Because when he turns the goddamn light on, oh my fucking God, we have a lady
Paul
sitting on the fucking wall. Yeah, Paul turns the light on.
Paul wakes up, yeah.
Oh my God, dude. This one, and then he like fucking like, I think it's like the logical freak out too, where like he literally grabs the camera, goes like, looks at it, goes, oh
notices
my fucking...
her. Mm-hmm.
And then wraps himself in a fucking burrito. Although I would have been
he hides under the covers.
He hides under the covers. Yeah. I would have been screaming my head off for anybody around. Cause if there's a bunch of people, like the idea of him remaining quiet was like,
the only thing I can think, he's so scared he can't make a sound.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I think. He actually freaks out, but like silent style. And I guess if you had like a fucking demon ghost lady watching you sleep, I guess you would be like so unnerved that you like, he
kind of catches his breath and then peeks back under. And when he peeks back under, that look of her like yellow eyes, like looking at him and catching him and like coming towards him before it drops back down the sheet is such a great moment. Yeah, that really works.
Jesus Christ.
I love her design.
Totally. And oh God. All right. So yeah, Paul's now disappeared. I like how they
so he kind of screams for a second. The camera kind of breaks digitally. It's having some problems. Now all of a sudden it's picked up off the ground by Mac. In Paul's room. Paul's not there.
And now they start complaining that he's not here, and he's kind of just like, he did this in Queens. He's going to do it fucking again. They try. Did you try calling him? The sound. If you ever wanted to hear what hell sounded like, because he got the direct line. Yes. Oh my God.
Loud.
Yes. Oh God. Oh, dude. This sequence.
So they try to call Paul.
Yeah.
Paul. They put it on speaker. When it answers, it's like screaming and demon noises
sounds and shit,
feedback, and terrible. It scares the shit out of him. He drops the phone
and it busts apart. Yeah,
back when a battery would fall out of your phone.
Right. And then we start getting the piano, him playing Meow Mix in the front room. This is where I'm like super confused, because Andrew, aka Mac, is especially calm, specifically after the batshit experience that he had. I'm flabbergasted that he is as calm as he is during this scene.
What, because of what experience that Mac had?
Oh, dude, like up and down the stairs, sleepwalking, the clown appearing,
the clown thing,
like the table setting,
everything that happened with him.
Oh my God, yeah. Like I would feel
that's a very good point, actually.
It's like Paul's disappearance and then hearing that and then just running around that leads to nothing that goes straight to the basement is like, fucking goddamn it. Like I would have just
and what maybe the house has gotten to him too at this point.
It's kind of you make a really
There's
good
no
point.
Other explanation, really.
It is, honestly. I feel like this house infects people differently. Like it makes them start going crazy.
Like the signal.
Yes. Or like they're completely oblivious to the dangers around them and just think it's like, no, it's whatever. Like it's not to a ludicrous standpoint, but like I feel like you would feel a little more like what the fuck is going on, but in the auspice of like, he's like, I just gotta find Paul.
Does. He's like, I'm going to get that. He has to be convinced to say that's about to happen. We'll get to that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because they get down to the basement. They only have flashlights. And then Tony turns around and all of the clown heads have now pointed themselves to him as he freaks out.
Now. Yeah.
And,
they run into like a walk-in freezer or something downstairs.
Yes. And then have to convince Tony to like get out of the goddamn freezer and go. And that's where they find Paul blacked out on the corner.
Sitting. He is sitting
like the
same way the clowns have been sitting, the same way the girl sat against the wall that pulled him away.
Yes.
And he is sitting on his shoes for some reason. His shoes are off and he is sitting on them.
Yeah, which is like super weird. And then he does his best Terminator impression where just like when his eyes open, he's just like, I'm like, oh, Jesus. I was like, well, Paul's not the same. Okay, Paul's checked out. He's possessed.
Certainly is not. But that's the other, going more to the implied lore, like, why does everybody sit like this? Why were his shoes off? What's going on?
There's a lot of like unexplained ritual that happens in this movie, which I find kind of cool, where it's just like, I don't know. It's all the subtleties. Like, it's not, look at those shoes. Why is he sitting on his shoes? Like the other characters,
you would never
like the viewer is like more.
You're not meant to notice so much. It's just kind of there. Yeah,
exactly. And like the characters don't, but as a viewer, you're like, why the fuck are they doing? Like, oh my God, what's up with that? And I like the fact like you're in the dark as much as the main characters are in this. Yeah. So fucking Paul's catatonic and Tony is flipping out for now complete I mean, not now, but for legitimate reasons. This is where we get that weird, like Mac calms him down or tells him some information where like the whole movie statics out, where you don't really know what he tells him. And then it gets to like this field shot.
He's going to tell him something. He's like, you can go, but just let me tell you one thing.
Yeah.
He turns it off.
And I feel like it's heavily implied that Alex fucked them over somehow. Where like if this doesn't work out, I think it's obviously it has to do something with money. Is that like I think they're all invested in this company, and I feel that like Alex did something shady or something negligent with the
and
funds.
That's why they have to stay on.
And they have to do it because if they don't do the run, like no one's getting paid, and
it definitely is because of Alex for some reason that they have to stay. It could be that. It could totally be that. I just wasn't quite able to figure it out. And but then he also says there's a lot going with Alex that like he's not telling me.
Right. It's there's like so much because
he's infected by the house and is appearing on the porch and doing crazy shit in a black book. And like we saw how like on top of it he was in the beginning, and then this last like sort of hoorah speech he's supposed to give the troops before opening night is so pathetic.
He's like catatonically rallying the troops is what I wrote down. It's like, just like do it. Like, I don't care. It's just like, he's like, don't even worry about it. Like Paul's upstairs asleep on the mattress because like whatever. And like, no, it's okay. He's fine. Everything's good. Just do your jobs.
Right. So Tony decides to stay. They're going to have their opening night. That Alex has that pathetic speech we just touched on.
Oh, yeah.
And then where are we?
Oh, do they try to go? They try to grab Paul, but he's asleep and won't wake up. And then so now we actually get what is in the basement. So we have a full actual view of the basement with the lights on, the clown set up, and of course our girl tied up in the front of the ritual pentagram.
They're setting it up for like the actual
actual night. And then, oh man, unfortunately for her, the clown has the key to unlock her, which I don't. That's also one of those weird ones where it's like as a character, it's like
that makes no sense.
Well, it's like that would be like if you're you can be in fake restraints, or if you're in some kind of restraint, you would probably be holding the key to get yourself out.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
You wouldn't rely on someone else just in case something exactly like what happened with Joey happens.
Right. I didn't. I've never worked at a haunted house or anything, but I just kept comparing everything to theater. You know what I mean? Because it's basically just live theater. And I was like, in a stage play, you would never actually get like anything. You wouldn't actually get handcuffed. I'm sure when they filmed this, they didn't actually handcuff the actress like that, you know?
Oh my God. Yeah, totally. So now we kind of get to the scene where obviously at this point it's even escalated. The walkie-talkies aren't working. And then we get Mac's head cam and a blend of all the other cameras for this scene. So it's like, I really like this. So like we kind of get through kind of where we let off in the original YouTube video is basically where we're getting at. So
so it's like they blend the original YouTube video with shots from
Mac's head cam, the security camera,
and people who made that we've been following all this stuff for. It seemed like maybe there was another YouTuber or two in there, like a couple other unseen.
I think so as well, because they show like a POV from the front of the house where like the ghost host opens, like the blonde girl that like is from the front. So like she opens up for everybody. But at this point, like I was really impressed with the amount of cameras that are in this sequence, how seamlessly they're all congruently kind of going through, specifically when it's weaving in from the first video that we see, and which is like the notorious YouTube one. Mm-hmm. So we see Joey bail, and then Sarah goes upstairs to alert Alex, and then Mac goes to investigate. Another guest was actually recording downstairs, and we see the bound girl. What is her name in this?
The actress?
Yes.
Melissa? The actress?
There we go. Yeah.
The real actress or the character who is
Lauren
an actress?
A. Kennedy plays Melissa.
Who is an actress, a character.
I just say character. Probably just they say actor in the movie. But pleading for her to be let free because this is not part of the show, as Joey the Clown bolts and we see a dark figure in a shroud by the wall. No way out, by the way, because they try using the exit and they turn around to the girl being chained up and being attacked. And I think there's literally more of those shrouded characters now emerging.
Yes.
As like one of them is like, I'm assuming stabbing her or something like that. You don't really see what happens, but you sure as hell. Not tickling, way more than tickling. But you literally see a hell mouth open up and suck her body in. That entire scene was like, what the fuck?
So we'd been seeing that was like with the stuff that Alex had been drawing in his notebook as it got off the rails. He was drawing that circle opening and the person
the clown's face.
Thing. So it almost is like, did he come to the house was he drawn there to do this, or did he come there and the house possessed him to do that? You know what I mean? Because it's almost like he was orchestrating this.
100%. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it just infected him like it infected everyone else, because it ultimately wound up killing him. You know what I mean? So it's like,
sure. I
feel like if like he was trying to help the house, that it would give, I don't know, there wasn't like a trade-off, as in like he just got murdered. I think it was just like he was so blinded by having to do this haunted house and do these things, but then also like doing this psychotic setup that it just, I don't know.
So it was infection.
Yeah. Panic is now ensuing upstairs as Mac leads people out of the house. Once a bunch of people are let out of the house, the door shuts itself and locks. Then Mac sees a little girl in the parlor with a chiming clock, which I'm assuming is the 11-year-old girl ghost. I was like, oh fuck, oh god. As Tony I think Tony's going to the basement. The basement door slams on its own, and he runs upstairs, and then back to the attic where we see Alex hanging from a noose. And then a group of black-robed boogeymen attack Mac, and I think they hang him as well. I think
hard
both of them are.
I wasn't sure what they did.
Yeah,
it's like, to me, it was just kind of like, got him.
Yeah, straight up. It's like, it's like weird because you see a silhouette of someone else hanging, but I don't know if that's supposed to be Mac or if that's supposed to be Alex. If and they don't really confirm that as well.
I don't think I noticed the silhouette of someone else hanging. There's so much to see, you know what I mean? You're searching the frame.
And I think that's the fun part about it. I mean, I can also see how it would be kind of a little frustrating, I guess, because it's also like found footage, especially during chaotic scenes, is like strapping a camera to a puppy's head and having it run around, where it's like it's very visually jarring and like it's not really giving you the full story, obviously.
I don't know if it's because I've watched more found footage movies or if I am just more used to seeing home video now than I used to be, but it's not as jarring as it used to be. And I wonder, is that because there's more found footage movies, or is that because of YouTube in a way? You know what I mean?
No, that's a really good point. I don't know. I think also for me, the only time that I've actually felt, I guess you would say, nauseous while seeing a found footage movie is like, I was like front row for Cloverfield when it came out. And like a lot of the subway scenes that were jarring, it's also like 40 feet across my face. And I was just like, the whole time I was like, oh, I'm getting a little gurgly. But that could have just been literally because I'm like staring at it directly in front of my, you know what I mean? Like I was like towards the back of it. You know what I mean? Like found footage stuff in general.
Found footage, I've never felt sick from found footage. But when I saw Hardcore Henry in theaters, I had to leave like almost immediately, which was that action movie from the first person perspective. Yeah. In the beginning of the movie, his like eyeballs are separated. So you're looking at like two different images kind of blended together through the middle before they like connect and you can see properly. And it made me so nauseous. I had to leave. I went back to my hotel room. Even felt sick like going up the elevator.
So Henry was hardcore for you.
Way too hardcore for me. Hardcore Henry LLC.
I like that. Dibs on that. All right. So, and then the rest of this is Sarah was unharmed and got in front of the house where the police were waiting. And then Diane, the woman's like, so nothing happened to you the entire way from the attic to the front door.
Why was she so specific on asking that? You know what I mean? It seems...
See, this is weird because from the viewer's perspective, we're seeing everything that's going on. But while this is going on, like while in real time, these tapes have just been handed over. So she's just like, all of this crazy shit happened to everybody going to like one room. You made it from technically 3 stories. You went from the attic to the second story to the first floor, out the front door, and nothing happened to you. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's like one of the most unbelievable aspects for Diane after hearing the story is like, how did nothing, like, things were coming out of the walls. There's hell pits opening. There's a bunch of other crazy shit that she's describing that like, she's like, okay.
I don't know. The way she really goes after it, like, bothered me a little bit. Takes me out.
It's a little, I think it might have been a little too on the nose. But anyways, the interview's done. She says she's staying in room 2C if they have any other questions, and then tells Diane, it's Diane, right? Yeah,
that's Diane. The reporter or the lady making the documentary.
I like the fact she goes like, yeah, but like, why don't you just go to the hotel? Why don't you just see it for yourself? And then literally to like blaze a breaking and entering scheme. And she's like, that seems appropriate. Let's do that.
As soon as she said, I think you guys should visit, I was like, oh, like I was like, oh, you didn't make it out and you're trying to get them to go back there. But also, it made the framing of the story make so much more sense to me, because on my first watch, a lot of the time I was like, why in the hell would they tell the story this way, where they're like, interviewing these people and interviewing these people, and now they're going to interview this girl, and now she's brought all this footage to them that is now going to take up most of the story, only to come back to it. I was like, if you had come across all this, why would you put it together in this manner to tell the story? And it's so you can have that surprise at the end.
Exactly. So one of them stays behind while the other two go to the hotel, but in doing so, they go to the front desk, and Sarah is not staying there, and there are no letters in any of the hotel rooms at this hotel.
Right. Or like, can we go to 2C?
Wink, wink.
We don't have a 2C. What about Sarah Havel? There's no Sarah Havel. Well, maybe you're staying under something else. Yeah, maybe. Right. Let's go.
Let's just do this, right? And this is like, and again, this is like the crux of.
And Sarah had reached out to her. I noticed that on my second watch when they're debating whether or not she's going to show up. I think we get one of those black with white text things saying like Sarah Havel reached out to Diane about the documentary. To be a part of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this also gave me, and obviously it's done after, but We Are Still Here vibes, where it's like, I think the idea of an entity being able that you would think in a haunted in a conventional haunted house film is that these creatures are within the parameters of said haunted thing. So when they venture out, like this thing literally
but this isn't a haunted house. This is a hellmouth.
It's a hellmouth. Exactly. And also actually the same thing with
Hellmouth LLC.
Hellmouth LLC. Well, it's the same thing with We Are Still Here too, because that's literally like a weird, you know,
did it end up being a hellmouth?
It's like a hellmouth, like interdimensional pit of evil. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I really like that aspect because like I think we have this preconceived notion when we get into haunted house films that they can only exist within the parameters of the house. So when you have something that's like past that, you're like, oh fuck, that wasn't even on my fucking radar. Well, if Diana had actually walked through the footage, she probably would have seen the last part of it because Mitchell
answered the phone when Mitch called.
Yes. Either one of those would have been very important because Mitchell actually goes through the footage and I think they say, and cannot explain the following footage. It shows Sarah crawling through the first floor towards the exit and SpaghettiOs. Paul is there and he beats Sarah bloody in the face with a camera.
She has the camera. He takes it from her. Yeah, and we just see like the ceiling and she's getting beaten with the back of the camera, so we don't see her beating. We just see the camera movement.
Yes, and then we get the very beaten up Sarah, and in classic Chuddle the Pod format, she gets sucked off screen.
Yes. There's some blood on the wall. She's got a bloody nose and like face inside of the face. Yeah. And this is like some of the most gore we get in the whole movie. This is along with the next bit. That's why I'm giving very low. You know?
Very, very low. Yeah, because Paul stands there for a second, takes a piece of glass off the floor and slits his own throat, technically off screen.
Definitely blood trickles
and slides into frame. So like you do see the gash.
He slides into frame, but then you only even see just the top, or only a little bit where the wound is slides into the top of the frame.
We get some choking and some gurgles though. So what we don't see in physicality, we get in acting.
That's spot on.
Yeah. Just dub that over the real version, be the exact same thing. So Diana heads over to the hotel just like the beginning of the documentary, and they make their way inside. The cameraman is now the viewer because we now know what's going on, and so does the fucking cameraman because he's like, I am not going in the goddamn basement. You are fucking crazy. Are you fucking serious? Like, I like the fact that Diana is like, she's intentionally trying to go into these spaces for the story, and the cameraman's like, this is what the fuck? This is and it reaches a crescendo when they realize, oh fuck, she said 2C. That's 2C.
We just came to 2C.
We just came to 2C. And then I like the camera as he goes, we aren't here to go in a creepy ass room. And then she goes, well, I am.
Yeah. I love that.
And wouldn't you know it, Sarah is on the bed facing the fucking window. Sarah, are you okay? Are you okay, Sarah? Sarah, are you okay? No.
She's not.
She's definitely not. The door slams and dark figures show up and fucking take both of Diane and the cameraman, screaming and yelling as we get the camera on its side. And this movie was brought to you in part by Meow Mix. Slowed down.
Dun, dun, dun,
Done. And then we get that fade to black, baby.
I guess Mitchell went and got this camera and put the rest of the movie together on his own.
Are you kidding me? I would not have stepped foot in that house to get that camera.
Somebody did. Oh,
yeah. It's, you know, part of me,
detective.
Right. Part of me, actually, you know what? That's a really
that'd
good
be
point.
a funny story. Is like the people who are going out there to, like, there's a business of people that find footage to make these found footage movies.
That's where, hey, that's the whole cult in VHS.
Kind of, yeah.
But it's a, yeah, part of me also thinks that the hotel wanted a documentary made about it. As in, so it was abandoned for so long, and then they have this haunted house.
Draw more people to it.
Yeah. So, like, it had the nice honeypot of, like, the haunted house where you could kill 15 in one night. And now if, like, you make this thing, like, notorious and have this documentary behind it, can you imagine how many urban spelunkers would, like, just try to break in there?
It's a real haunted house. I want to go there now.
Oh, my God, yes. Next year, we need to go to Pennsylvania and go through this haunted house with Hell House LLC shirts. Well, and on that note, I think it's time for us to take a little bit of a break before we get into our crematorium of questions. Are we? Yeah, we're back. All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. Let's get into our crematorium of questions. Sam, okay, are we surviving Hell House? Are we? See, I feel like
Are we setting up the haunted house inside of Hell House? Presumably we are, right?
I would assume so. And if that's the case, no. I feel like the longer
Definitely
you're
not.
in this house, you're fucking toast. I mean, people were in this house for less than 6 minutes and 15 of them were murdered. Right.
So there's a chance we'll live if we're,
I would say,
customers,
depending on where you were in the tour group.
Right. But I think basically if you were in or about that basement at about that time, you're fucked, right?
Yeah, pretty well fucked. I mean, like, I think the people hell fucked, actually. Proper hell fucked. LLC. Yeah, no, I don't. I think that most people that were, like, walking down the stairs, I think probably got maimed because, like, they're just talking about the deaths. I can't imagine those people trying to get out. I would say limited survivability for Hell House.
I would agree.
This is going to be this is like a choose your own adventure. How are we going to make it gooier? Just adding goo, I think, would be.
Yeah. Or should it be gooier? In this case, I would say yes. You don't think it should? You're so hard to predict.
No. Okay,
we'll watch movies that are like 7 out of 10 on the gore meter, and you're like, yeah, it should be gooier. And this,
well, because I like the fact that this is more.
This is the only movie.
This is more off-putting than gooey. Although I do admit, like,
it's not gooey at all.
Exactly. I mean, like, if we, I mean, like, I think some of the deaths could be obviously gooier. But I like how off-putting it is without the gore in this. I think that's actually one of the most commendable things about this movie is that it didn't need to make things gooey to make them off-putting, you know?
I agree, but this one is one I would definitely add goo to.
My God, the goo cut on this would be amazing, though.
Other movies with low goo counts or that I have said I didn't need more goo, I don't think I would enjoy the movie more if it were gooier. This movie, as much as I like it, I think I would like it even more if it was a bit gooier.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think we have to go like Evil Dead 2 amount of goo, but
no.
Oh, but
I'm
it's a haunted house.
Take it up to a 4 or 5 even. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to go much higher than that.
I can, I can definitely agree with that. This is going to be a weird one. Villain level. What do we What are we giving the hotel? Because, I mean, I'm assuming we're just doing the whole building.
Sure. Well, if we do it to scale, iconography and power level, its power level has got to be like 5.
I was going to say a 4 to 5. The only reason why I'm not saying 5 is because people actually escaped.
Sure, like, but those were not. Those were just people who were there for like a minute, right?
Like, yeah, that's true. But
it is escapable, and you have to go to it. It's not like it can get to you. So I'll drop it to a 4. And then it's not. I mean, looks wise, there's nothing about the Hotel Abaddon in particular that stands out. It's really the particular clown. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean, like the clown, I guess, would be part of it, which is super fucking creepy. But as a building, it's weird. I would definitely say the iconography is low for me, but not in a bad way. Like it's innocuous, like it's inconspicuous, as in like this just looks like an offset. Like it doesn't read dark and gloomy and crazy.
Scary,
I guess unless you're on Google Street View and then you actually see all the ghosts. But no. I would probably say maybe like a 7 or an 8.
Hotel.
I'd give it maybe like a 7 or an 8.
Okay, total. That works for me. I'll be at like let's just split the difference. Call it a 7.5.
Love it.
Great.
Does this movie? What are your sequel ideas for this? If you had to do a sequel for this, do you think it deserves a sequel, or do you think? And like, if you had to do a sequel, if I did a
sequel, it would be a non-found footage prequel about the guy who's hung himself.
Tully, yeah.
It would be his whatever he was actually up to, if he disappeared those people or not. If he was part of this cult, whatever it is, it would be the trials and tribulations around that particular disappearance.
Nice. I feel, oh man. Okay. So I would have, I almost want to do like a Rec 2, where it's like they get a call about a distress in the house, and then it's like the found footage of a SWAT team having to go in to the hotel, and then like just it gets, so you really get the goo. Like that would be like goo supreme. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of dudes just having to use like
goo preem. Yeah, definitely.
Or honestly, I would even have one about just like either go way over the top, like Rambo style, or like a Goonies style, where it's a bunch of kids break in and it's a bunch of kids trying to escape the house.
Right. Fuck it. Let's send Sean Ruddy over there.
Okay. So there really isn't a soundtrack. Would you buy a haunted house themed soundtrack for this? Would you want the
this
Abaddon
one in particular?
Hotel?
I'm going to go ahead and say no. Yeah, because it sounds like just a
chains rattling and then people screaming, staticky 911 calls.
Thunks, babies crying.
Yeah, right. Do you have a band name for this?
I do not have a band name for this. Do you have a band name for this?
I would just name it Abaddon, and then Abaddon, the album, Abandon All Hope.
Oh yeah, nice.
And then just a satanic metal band, and it just and then call it the Basement Sessions.
Oh, okay. So this is like the have you heard this band? Like they never put out the album. You just have the demo.
We just have the demo. They recorded in a basement and they all died.
As soon as the song was over, they all went to hell.
Oh man, are you getting an action figure from this?
I'd get that creepy clown. I would get the clown. Sure. By the way, if you're wondering what frame has been the background for Ross's Zoom meeting this whole time, it has been the creepy clown. It's
right over my shoulder, which is very off-putting. And also, I put it there, and it still has surprised me twice during this recording. I look up and go, fuck. Oh, she's okay. There you go. No, I did that.
Now, what would be scary is if he's not there all of a sudden.
Oh my God, he just disappears.
And you look in front of you and he's there.
Oh, shit. Oh God, I would poop. Okay, we're just gonna say the clown, right? Like, do you want a prop from the movie? The prop's gonna be the clown.
Prop from the movie gotta be the clown, right? Is there anything else? Not really. Nothing comes to mind.
Oh man, I trinket wise. Oh, you know what? I would get Alex's notebook that starts crazy.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a great one.
Yeah, that because it's more compact. Where are you gonna put a 6'6.5" foot tall clown? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, his notebook's much better.
It moves on its own, so no matter where you put it, it's gonna be somewhere else. You're never gonna find it.
Such an asshole, that guy.
What a fucking jerk. Do we have anything for the midnight showing of this? I didn't. I know I didn't. I had this is one of those weird ones. I had a big old goose egg on this one.
Oh, I nothing in particular, just a whole bunch of like behind you, over there, look out type of deals. You know, nothing special.
More just screaming at it. Is Pearl surviving a night?
Pearl from X?
Yeah, Pearl from X.
No, definitely not.
How do you think how do you think she's going to go out? For me, I think she's going to accidentally trip down the stairs. I think she's just going to literally just do a header down the stairs and just die. Like, she'll see the clown, have a heart attack, and then just drop down the stairs.
Yeah. That's good. I was thinking that she would probably see the clown and be like, and hit on it, and then somehow the clown, who we have not seen move, would move to kill Pearl.
Yes. Just by the sheer audacity that she's hitting on him.
Like, get away from me.
Oh my God, no. Oh, it's so gross. All right. It's now time to pull...
Schnow.
It's schnow. What time is it? Schnow.
It's schnow.
It's schnow time to pull our satanic sabers out as we rate this film on our Chuddle scale. We use a rating scale of 0 to 5 fingers. Each finger adds to the score, with more fingers equaling a higher score. And don't forget, you can chop off half a finger or no fingers, whatever you're feeling. Now, Bry Guy is not with us, but he sent us a really staticky walkie-talkie message about his rating. Sam, do you want me to do that?
Well, I didn't know. I wasn't expecting to have to improv a static walkie-talkie.
Oh, yeah, no. We don't have to do that part. Okay.
I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Brian says, Hell House LLC. Engaging. Cutting off a full finger for that. 1. Sticky. Full finger there. That's another one. T-shirtable. Only a 0.5 on the t-shirt. Not feeling something about the shirt. Hard to say what. Cockles, that's a full figure. It really made his heart cockles feel good in some way, I assume. Or felt bad strongly in a way that he liked it, though, kind of.
Oh.
Hurt so good.
Hurt so
and then
good. Haunt so
rewatchable. Good. He gave a full figure as well for a total of 4 or 5 out of 5, which is a fantastic score. Brian added these thoughts. For being such a little found footage freak, you'd think I'd seen this sooner. I watched it for the first time probably earlier this year, and it's quickly become one of my favorite found footage movies. While it doesn't hit the full 5, I feel it's really good at hitting all the notes it's trying to hit. It's a pretty straightforward film, and to me is almost like a comfort horror movie. I know I'm not going to be challenged, but I know I'll have a good time.
Yeah, nice. Fair. Very fair.
Nice.
All right, Sam.
My turn now?
Mm-hmm. I mean, unless you want me to go. I
just kind of went, but it wasn't mine.
Oh, that's true.
All right. Engaging. That's a full one. I was definitely engaged. And actually even more engaged the second time because I was noticing more things, had more questions about different things, wanted to figure out more stuff. Like I'm even more interested in watching it now. Sticky. Yeah. That's an interesting one. We'll see what it ends up being, but I'm going to give it a 0.5 for now because it seems like it's one of those things where I might even only remember that I liked it and couldn't tell you much about it. We'll see.
I feel like,
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think the clown's scarred into my memory.
Interesting, yeah.
forever.
It's one of those things where I'm a big boy that doesn't get scared. So it, like, I was like, a lot of this, like, I understand.
You got them big boy pants.
This is like well executed, scary movie stuff, but whatevs. T-shirtable is going to get a 1 from me for The Clown. I think The Clown is cool. I like the movie a lot. Yeah. I've seen different versions of the poster that I think are really cool. So definitely full finger for T-shirtable. Cockles. That's going to get a full finger as well. On my first watch, I wasn't sure I'd give it a full finger for Cockles. But again, the second watch, I was surprised at how much more it had to offer me on a second viewing, which kicked up the cockle rating, which goes back to our last one, Rewatchable, which is also going to get a 1 because as I've been saying, as I've been going over the scores, is like, I feel like there's way more to get out of this than I thought there was after my first viewing, or not even, just stuff to explore. It's not like I'm going to be learning any great life lessons here, but it's fun. And I like looking at it. So that gives me a 4.5 out of 5 as well. Man,
I think we're all going to be kind of on the same train. Engaging for me, fully engaged with this movie. I'm fully engaged with this movie the 5th or 6th time I've seen this movie. Which goes right in part with sticky for me, is that it's the stickiness of, obviously the clown is freaky, but it's also the stickiness of all the weird subtlety and all the other cogs in the background of this movie that are working, that I feel like you catch a little more every time you revisit it. And I think it's like, you're not going to get a full explanation because that's not the point of the movie, but it's like you see a little further through the veil a little more every time you kind of like watch it, which I think works really well for especially the subject matter of this. T-shirtable. See, this is the weird one. T-shirtable for me is Same going, Bryan, this is the one that gets the 0.5. Yeah. So like, I do like it. I think the clown would be great. Honestly, I would totally just get on the front pocket, small Hell House, and on the back staff, like a Hell House staff shirt would be amazing. But I think just because I think the clown is cool, but like shy of that, that's like one of the only things I can think of.
What's the other that I would character we see? The girl that takes Paul. Is also very cool looking, and the hooded figures are really cool looking. Whenever we see characters, I think they have a cool design to them.
100%. Cockles gets a 1 from me, which is kind of weird because, like you said, there's not a lot of goo in this, and usually Cockles and goo go real hand in hand. I do kind of agree, now kind of marinating on it. I do agree. I think if it was gooier, I think it would be a great movie, but it's still a great movie with or without the goo, which is awesome. Like, this relies on like misperception of where things are going to be laying. It's like foreground, it's background, it's how it's shot. It's just, I don't know. There's so many things going through that it just eviscerated the Cockles. Rewatchable gets a 1 as well. Rewatchable is a bazinga. This movie's a bazinga. It's just so good for me personally. Now, obviously, I will cover the sequel, and I won't. Obviously, no spoilers. I like watching 1 and 2 back to back. Like, that's a really fun watch. Is kind of just like 1 to 2, like a double feature creature night. I think is a fantastic. How does this compare to the other movies in the Chuddle?
I'll tell you. It sits, we all gave it the same score, actually. So it is 4.5 out of 5, right? Did we all give it the same score? Sorry, I lost it. Yeah, 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
That sits right next to Scare Package. We got a good amount of 4 or 5s. There's only 2 other movies that got 4 or 5s across the boards. That's The Ring and The Sadness.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in good company, which is so funny to me because one of the most tame, goriest movies and the goriest movie that we've covered are literally on the same level.
The line. I don't want to watch any further.
NC-17. Yeah. Exactly.
And then other 4.5s include Scare Package, Friday the 13th Part 6, and that's it actually. Yeah. So, handful there right above it. You got your Pussy Cakes and Babadooks right below it. You got your Blobs and Black Phones, amongst more.
Nice. Do we have anybody from the Discord?
We got a couple. I put out the call very last minute, but we got a couple here. Let's see here.
And if you'd like to have your score heard on the podcast, get in our Discord. We have little sub Discordy. I don't know what they call channels.
We have channels for every movie that we're going to cover, and you can let us know ahead of time.
Exactly.
We'll include it in the episode. Also, we leave it up for a little while after the episode comes out, so if you want to comment on anything that happened in the episode, you can do it in there too. That being said, the Witchy Cajun, Richie Prehan, says,
"Ooh,
seriously spooky. One of the most recent films to give me that physical fear reaction. That clown mannequin with a mind of its own don't fuck around. I'm getting nervous just typing this out. 5 fingers, babe." And then nice. T-Boo said he hasn't watched it in a while since he covered it a few years ago, but he enjoyed the premise and finds it and the creepy factor. He gives it a full 1 for engaging for that reason. Sticky, he gives it a 0.5 because some imagery is stuck with him. And the little piano, did he? Because he probably didn't realize that it was catchy. Yeah,
loving that meow mix.
T-shirtable is also a half finger for the haunt itself and those spooky clowns. Cockles, he'll give a full finger to. He rarely remembers enjoying that and the atmosphere of the film and everything, but rewatchable gets a 0 because he never went back to it. So that's 3 out of 5 overall. Mm-hmm. And he kind of wants to go back to finish the series. I guess there's a new one coming out. He added. So 5 and a 3, that'd be a 4 there. So other 2 we got were a little bit higher, but like I said, I know this movie is really well regarded, particularly in found footage circles. This is always popping up.
Oh, huge. Absolutely. All right. I think that leads us to our final thing.
Thing-a-ling.
Thing-a-ling. All right. This one actually is not a would you rather. It's not a chat GPT LMNOP. This is just kind of a direct question. Now, the clown's off-putting. If you were doing this movie and you had to put one of your big phobias in the basement, what would you replace the clown with?
That's really tough. I don't really have many options here. Live hippopotamus.
Well, it doesn't have to be oh my god, a live animal. You've never heard of the Halloween hippopotamus?
The roof of a tall building.
Yeah, I guess you can't put heights in a basement. Okay, let me simplify.
I'm not afraid of like spiders or clowns or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Well, what if? Okay, so if you had to take the clown out, what do you think would be a fun substitute for the clown?
Just like something that I would want to go something people find scary, and honestly, I would probably do it's flooded. You have to. There's like, but maybe 2 feet deep.
Ankle deep,
not
or
too deep.
Okay.
Maybe even just ankle deep, right? Not very deep. And there are parts though, and people can just walk around there as normal, but sometimes maybe the bottom falls out and you just fall down into the water, or maybe sometimes an arm comes out of this ankle deep water and pulls you in, or play with that and the fear of like water.
Good idea.
And you get to play with
and stuff.
Play with that within the confines of like ankle deep water flooded basement would be interesting.
I like that. Mine would be, it's like a little mix of opera
The movie or
I would have a
the
bunch
concept?
The movie, yeah. Or the concept. Well, you know, a little bit of both. No, towards the end of the movie, I would have a bunch of mannequins and characters in white sheets, like ghosts, but like a dozen, like 15 of them, 20 of them. So like you have to weave your way in and out of all of these ghosts, and you have absolutely no idea which one's a mannequin and which one's an actual actor.
Little Scream 3 Ghostface costume action. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And actually, they could use the same robes for all the satanic. It just have a bunch of weird satanic ghosts, and they could just
ran into the rope room.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is a great place to conclude this meeting of Chuddle the Pod Movie Club meeting for tonight, ladies and gents. I concur. So don't forget about all the places you can get at us. Please rate and review us. Make sure you tell a friend. You can find Sam Letterboxd at Chuddle the Sam. You can find me on Instagram at my name, Ross Purvis, and Bryan is our crypt keeper of the Discord. Always lurking, always commenting, always encouraging our fellow Chuddleheads.
Big encouragement in there. He's not calling stuff mid every time you post something.
Exactly. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your morning, noon, night, day, brunch, whatever you guys are doing. And until next time, don't
avoid the time loop.
Avoid the time loop. See, this one, what sucks is that we're doing ones that have time loops, so I feel like we're not avoiding the time loop.
But you should.
We should.
Recommend that to everyone.
We don't
avoid the time loop.
We recommend that to everyone. Completely avoid the time loop, albeit that we never do that. It's mostly just do what we say, not what we do.
We avoid the time loop. We just witness the time loop and go, I don't want none of that, and you shouldn't either. And that's the Chuddle promise. Avoid the time loop.